The caveman sat completely alone by the campfire in the tribe camp. Total silence of the night surrounded him. He sadly watched other couples from afar, sitting close together and laughing happily. Days went by, and the caveman would go out to hunt alone into the deep, misty, prehistoric forests to change his life. Look at that. Today he got lucky and managed to catch a small rabbit. But the problem was, he had to eat this delicious food all by himself again, facing the massive mountains despite his hunger. Continuing his journey, the caveman discovered the footprints of a giant mammoth in the mud and stood there in shock. He was forced to carry the heavy meat and prey on his own shoulders all along the long path until the sunset. Tired from the journey, the caveman decided to take a short rest by a crystal-clear river near a breathtaking waterfall. Looking at his reflection in the water, he felt a strange, inexplicable emptiness deep inside. It felt as if something was missing. At that exact second, he noticed a beautiful girl who appeared like a miracle among the flowers on the opposite bank of the river. Hidden behind the large green ferns, he could not take his eyes off her, watching her every move with a racing heart. Suddenly, she turned around, spotted him through the leaves, and gave him a warm, playful smile. The caveman froze in panic, his eyes going wide with shock, and he accidentally dropped his wooden spear right out of his hand. To his surprise, she walked over, picked up the stone-tipped spear from the ground, and gently handed it back to him with a smile. They began walking side by side, listening to the loud roar of a massive waterfall as a bright rainbow formed in the mist above them. To impress her, he brought her inside a secret cave and proudly showed her a rare, beautifully glowing blue crystal. Together, they wandered deeper into the ancient jungle, walking underneath the giant, mossy roots of prehistoric trees. They carefully holding hands for balance as they crossed a shaky wooden log bridge over a deep river canyon. In the middle of a massive field filled with giant, bright yellow sunflowers, they talked and laughed for hours. As the day came to an end, they sat on the edge of a high cliff, quietly watching a spectacular pink and gold sunset together. The next morning, the caveman woke up early and immediately began searching through the thick mist, looking everywhere for her. When he could not find her anywhere, a deep sense of worry and sadness washed over him. Finally, he spotted her again, standing beautifully in a vibrant garden filled with exotic prehistoric flowers. Feeling incredibly shy and blushing with pink cheeks, he slowly walked up and handed her a beautiful red flower. She took the flower into her hands, and her face lit up with pure joy and a sparkling smile. In that moment, he clutched his chest in shock, feeling his heart pounding so hard it felt like a drum beating inside him. That night, he lay flat on his back on the grass, eyes wide open, staring at the spectacular galaxy above, unable to sleep. He climbed to the highest mountain peak, sitting completely still under a massive full moon, deeply lost in his own thoughts. He scratched his head in confusion, wondering why this single person was completely changing how he felt inside. Determined to find the answers to these strange feelings, he raised his spear toward the horizon and decided to start a grand journey. Suddenly, the caveman found himself standing in the middle of a loud, busy modern city, surrounded by giant glass skyscrapers. Looking from behind a modern bush, he noticed a young couple holding hands while walking their dog through a sunny city park. He peeked through a coffee shop window and saw two people sharing a warm drink, laughing happily at a small table. He stood in the back of a beautiful outdoor wedding, watching a bride and groom kiss under an arch of white flowers. In the golden autumn light, he watched an elderly couple sitting closely on a bench, still holding hands after all these years. Looking over someone's shoulder, he saw a bright smartphone screen where a long-distance couple was smiling on a video call. But then, under the pouring rain, he saw a man crying bitterly at a train station as someone he loved departed on a train. Seeking answers, he walked into a giant futuristic science museum filled with glowing screens and exhibits. He stopped in front of a massive glowing blue holographic three-dimensional model of a human brain, staring in total awe. Suddenly, flashing labels appeared around the brain model, showing him words like dopamine and oxytocin. He began to understand the science. A vision appeared before him, showing how ancient parents would fiercely protect their tiny baby from freezing inside a dark cave storm. Another vision showed a whole tribe of early humans working together, sharing food, and building a village to survive. A warm light filled his face as he realized love was not just a random feeling. It was the ultimate bond that kept families together. He saw that love was designed by nature to protect the children and ensure the survival of the human species through the ages. With his answers found, the caveman jumped back through a glowing magical portal, leaving the modern city behind to return home. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him across the prehistoric valley, his heart full of emotion as he saw her waiting in the distance. Without any hesitation, he ran straight to her and handed her a beautiful fresh flower, his face glowing with a smile. That evening, they sat closely together on a log next to a warm campfire, safe from the dangers of the wild world. He looked up at the vast, beautiful starry night sky and smiled a deeply peaceful, wise smile. Holding hands, they looked out at the spectacular golden sunrise, realizing that love is not magic. It is the greatest gift of evolution.